Even though I think the original Tim Burton theory is total nonsense, I still think there's an argument that you can connect the Corpse Bride with Frankenweenie. Hey family members, you have McGann on the Fangirl, where I try to make movies more interesting, but usually just end up ruining them instead. But today is hopefully an exception. This time I'm covering Frankenweenie, and full disclosure, what I'm gonna say here is basically just expanding on what I already put in my debunking the Tim Burton theory video, so there will be a little bit of repeat in there. Oh, and if you haven't seen my debunk on that theory, go ahead and watch it, please. Thank you. Now, if you've never seen Frankenweenie, it's a recent-ish movie that is made completely in black and white, and it's basically a really long homage to all the old classic horror films. Victor's dog Sparky dies, and Victor brings him back to life like a Frankenstein monster, which causes other kids to follow suit. Like, oh, all we need is a corpse and some electrical current like a lightning blast? Cool! And while a lot of the plot isn't super important for this theory, it is really interesting to look at some of these characters. So many people are these very uniquely designed puppets, and then there's these three. Victor Frankenstein, which looks just like Victor Van Dort, Vic's neighbor, the town mayor, Mr. Burgermeister himself, who looks nearly identical to Mr. Everglot. And then there's Mr. B's niece, Elsa Van Helsing, who, again, really looks like Victor. Previously, I had said that Victor could easily be related to Victor, like Victor Von Dort and Emily Everglot finally get married, and their children or great-great-grandchildren or whatever move off to America with all that fish money. So Victor Frankenstein from Frankenweenie could easily be a direct descendant of Victor Van Dort. But after watching the film again and being refamiliarized with Elsa and Mr. Burgermeister, I think that this can go even farther than that. Honestly, when we think of descendants, we kind of see it in a very narrow way, like a straight line. Victor begats Thomas, begats June, begats other Victor, you know, something in that ballpark. We tend to forget that many people, especially in the days before birth control, usually had a lot of kids. So it's really a lot more like Victor begat Thomas and Susie and Jane and Henry and Pete. And that whole line of kids had their own mess of kids, and so on and so forth. So, taking that into account, I think Elsa and Victor are cousins. And maybe not first cousins either, they could be fifth or sixth cousins for all we know, but if we look at all these different characters, they're all so extremely different that it's hard to believe that Victor and Elsa just happen to look alike, or it's some kind of artist rendition thing like an anime. You know, since most animes come from mangas who are drawn and created by one person, so they have one style and most characters look similar. I don't think that's a valid issue here because we don't see that problem anywhere else in Frankenweenie. And Mr. Burgermeister really helps to solidify this theory. Have you ever seen a picture of this really cute kid and then they transmutate into this ugly old deformed man? I think that's the Everglot genes. Seriously, I know I keep saying this, but every person in this film has such a unique design, and then there's characters that look so much like other characters. Why? Again, this isn't hand-drawn so that the artist only has one style, so everyone has the same hair or ears or whatever. Not a Miyazaki movie here. And Frankenweenie isn't animated in 3D, where it could arguably save them time to reuse certain models. Frankenweenie is stop motion, which means every little thing is so meticulously handcrafted, and every little puppet is wildly different from every other character and every other Tim Burton movie, except for the mayor, who's a dead ringer for Victoria's dad and these two kids. I don't think that's an accident. I think Mr. B is also in Victor and Victoria's direct line of descendants. Really, other than highlighting the aesthetics, I can't do anything to force you to believe in this theory. But if you think about it, most Tim Burton films do have this B plot where it's a love story. And Frankenweenie has plenty of room to insert one between Victor and Elsa, but they don't. And other than the creepy Luna Lovegood, there's really no one else in the script for Victor to be able to fall in love with. So it's almost weird that he doesn't pair off with Elsa at the end. I mean, Sparky the dog even has a girlfriend by the end of it. So it would have made sense for Victor to express some feelings for Elsa, but their friendship is just out there in this weird, lingery place it never fully gets just realized. And not that I'm not happy with that, I actually preferred taking out the love story in quite a few more children's movies, but the way that they set up the movie where even the dogs hook up, it just made it really awkward feeling. So what if Victor never expressed feelings for Elsa because he knows she's some distant relative, likely a cousin of some sort, and Victor's just not about that nasty incestuous lifestyle? It might not be a reality, but theories are more fun. So I know some of you are going to comment that, oh, my hair looks really cool today. Thank you guys. It is another one of the Descendants 3 splat samples. This is, I don't know how well the camera will focus, but it's the Uma color called Misty Teal. I finally got to watch Descendants at least 1 and 2 on Disney Plus, like I kept promising I would. I really didn't like it. I liked it about as much as I like this splat hair coloring, which takes forever to dry and it's a huge mess and your hair gets tangled and split ends everywhere. And yeah, I don't care for this product. I'd rather just really dye it than deal with this nonsense. But I did put some up on my really dark brown roots so you guys could kind of check out how it works on dark hair too. Cause why not? But yeah, as for the Descendants franchise, I thought the music was okay. The costumes were really good, but as far as the writing went, it was just, ugh. It was so bad I almost had to turn it off several times. Like, why is Ben becoming a king at the age of 16 when his brain isn't even fully developed and his father is still alive? If you're going to tell me that that kingdom has different rules, alright, but explain that somewhere along the line. And I know it's a Disney Channel show, so the standards are a lot lower than if it were a wide release movie, but I don't know, I've seen some really good Disney Channel originals and just Descendants was not one of them. Love the concept, hated a lot of the execution, and even the lip sync was bad. Come on, Disney, you should be the best at lip syncing. There were so many times the characters were singing and like, what? Why is that so out of sync? But yeah, Descendants is splat hair color is I mean, it's kind of cool, like you can try out how to place a color before you formally commit to a semi-permanent dye, but it's just such a mess. It takes so long to dry, even if you use a hairdryer, and as you put it in, no matter how much you're just combing straight down, it makes huge tangled messes. So I'm really glad that that was my last box of this stuff. I will not ever buy this again. The splat people could come to me and say, hey, we want to pay you $1,000 to promote splat, and I'd be like, I don't think I can ethically give you a positive review. It's really not so bad once it dries. It's just after 11 o'clock right now, and I put this in at 7 in the morning and it's just now getting dry, and that's with a ton of time with the hairdryer. It's basically like putting glue in your hair until you wash it out, and so far I haven't had any problems with the colors sticking, the purple, blue, or pink. Really, the purple stayed a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, 90% of it came right out in the first wash. The second wash got everything else, but I just really don't like this product. I am much more of a punky color gal, which, hey, I'm sure I have an Amazon referral link below for something. If you click on that link, even if it's not for punky color, and you buy punky color, it'll still kick me back a little bit of commission, so help a sister out. Throw what you know. Alright, I really don't have anywhere I'm going with this, so say hi to my Disney wisdom Simba, and we'll see you next time, guys. Vic's neighbor, the town mayor, Mr. Burgermeister. Vic's neighbor, the town mayor. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Burger. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Burgermeister. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Burgermeister. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Burger. Vic's neighbor, Mr. Burgermeister. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. episode. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.